Our first guest became an overnight celebrity when the Jersey Shore premiered in 2009. In his new book, Reality Check: Making the Best of the Situation, he shares how fame and money led him down a dark path of addiction and how he rebuilt his life from the ground up.
Welcome, Mike, the Situation Sorrentino, to Be Well. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm very grateful to be on News 12. Big fans here.
Yay, thank you. Now listen, you really didn't hold back when you were writing this book, so what made you decide to write a memoir?
Well, now going on, I'm in my 9th year of sobriety now. I just felt that I made it to the other side, and, I just had my 3rd baby and a happy, healthy marriage. I was like, you know what? I want to tell the story of the situation that people didn't know. And I set out on that journey 2 years ago, and now here we are. We just dropped the book a few months ago, and it's doing amazing. We're selling out book signings, and I couldn't be happier right now.
And I think people love how transparent you are in the book. So when we take it back to the Jersey Shore days, 2009, can't believe it's been that long, but you even in the book write that you were a naive rookie celebrity. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, listen, no one can compare you for when you first come on the scene and, you get the success that you're getting and people are offering you millions of dollars for contracts and you're driving a Ferrari now and everyone is throwing themselves at you. I don't think that anyone can compare you for that or prepare you for that type of success. And especially from the year before, I didn't even have to file a tax return the year before because I was a young kid not making any money.
Now you have this nickname, The Situation. Talk to us about where it came from and what it's like still having it.
Yes, in college, my nickname was Mikey Abs. And I always wanted to be on an underwear box. I just had a very shredded physique as a young man. And eventually I went to a couple modeling interviews and I got signed. And once I got signed, I went to celebrate with a couple buddies down at the Jersey Shore. And I had no shirt on and I walked by a couple. And the woman that was holding her boyfriend's hand, she saw me. She's like, "Oh my God, honey, that's a situation." And my buddies were like, "Oh my God, like, bro, that's a situation." And me having a sense of humor, I was like, "That's not a situation. This is." And I pointed to my abs. Evidently, a couple of weeks later, I had an interview with MTV. They asked me if I had a nickname. I remembered the story from a couple of weeks prior. I'm like, "It's The Situation," and they said, "Brilliant," and I eventually trademarked.
Wow.
Oh, that is brilliant. Now we know you that from around the world. But the situation was suffering in silence. You write in the book how it was very difficult to hide your addiction from the entire world who was seeing one thing and another thing was going on behind closed doors. So what was your addiction and how did you hide it?
I didn't have enough education about self and addiction at the time. I was a young man and I was merely just experimenting. And eventually, once I was experimenting in the club scene and I was drinking and then I was trying various drugs, eventually, when you go down that journey, you eventually become dependent. And that's really what happened to me. And then eventually, over trial and error, over many years and many substance abuse treatment centers, I eventually, got it right. But it took a lot of many years because most people do fail at that, though.
So how did you realize I need help?
Well, I mean, in my journey, I knew right away that I was going to need help because I started to get sick and go through withdrawals because I was on prescription opiates. And I'm like, oh, this is not normal, and I'm going to need professional help to medically detox me because I don't know what's happening. And that was probably the first time. Eventually, I did get detoxed. But I didn't do it correctly because in order to recover from addiction, you need to recover mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I didn't get that probably until the 3rd and the 4th time.
So what was it that made you get it right? Because I know a lot of people are going multiple times just like you and they're not getting it right. What was it that helped you get it right the last time you went?
The last time that I did it, which was the 4th time, I was so upset and depressed with myself that I had gotten back to rehab on the 4th time. I was like, something's got to change. I got to put my hand up and I got to surrender. I got to get out of my own way because my best thinking has led me to rehab 4 times. I got to get out of my own way. I got to listen to the professionals, and I got to do exactly what they say and more. All hands need to be on deck to recover from the disease of addiction, and that's exactly what I did.
All right, let's talk about your wife, Lauren. You guys have been married for 5 years, and you know what? What was this experience like getting through these tough times together?
Well, my wife, she's been my rock, even in my, younger years. She has inspired me to go for my dreams. And then when we reconnected in about 2013, I was in active addiction, and she didn't quit on me. She showed me what living your best life really was, which was love and family. And that's what's really put me over the edge. We're now married. We're going on our 6th year. We just had our 3rd baby. We got 3 babies under 3, and we are living our best life over here.
Well, I think when you look up ride or die in the dictionary, you're going to see her face. Because
definitely.
Not only did she stick with you through the addiction, but just 8 months into the marriage, well, actually, just shortly after the marriage, you were sentenced to 8 months in prison for tax crimes. I mean, how difficult must that have been on your personal life?
Imagine your first year of marriage, and obviously it was actually maybe the 2nd or 3rd month. Instead of really going to a honeymoon, my wife is visiting me in federal prison, which was about almost 3 hours away. She had to drive 3 hours one way and 3 hours back just to see her husband on the first year of marriage. Now if that's not love, I don't know what is.
Right.
Okay,
that must have been so difficult.
Of a ride or die, and she's my college sweetheart, my best friend, my soulmate. We worked through the hard times, and now things are sweet now for us.
All right, so you and Lauren, you said you have 3 kids. What is it like being a dad?
I love being a dad. Being a dad or being a sober dad is my biggest flex, to be honest with you. I've been on TV for 15 years. I've been in the celebrity parties. I've been a millionaire. I've lost all the money, then I gained it all back. But being a dad is probably the best title and my biggest accomplishment. Yeah.
Okay, but what kind of dad are you? Are you a stern, tough dad? Are you a silly dad they don't take seriously?
I think I'm a mix of both, actually. I do give in a lot to the kids. They're all small. One is 2.5, and then one is 1, and another one is about a month old. So I definitely give in a little bit, but at the same time, I'm also can be stern. I'm also a very active dad. I change diapers. I help my wife with dinner. We're a team over here. We want to just the goal is to win, and there's no I in team.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your kids, and when are you going to let them know about Jersey Shore and your young life of having fun?
They probably can't watch Jersey Shore until they're 18, probably.
Okay, right?
Maybe I'll let them watch the newer one, which is, as I'm mature and I'm a sober dad, and, I'll let them watch that maybe when they're 16.
Maybe.
But yeah, I'm gonna wait till they're grown and mature before they can, see some of that stuff.
And we get to see some of your interaction with the cast, and different things with the family vacation. But do your kids and their kids have play dates? Do you guys hang out when you're not filming?
Yes. In real life, we really are best friends. We have a group chat. We speak about everything and everyone at all times, every day. This relationship as a friendship, we're not even friends anymore, we're family, and there's play dates, there's birthdays, we support each other in everything we do, which is really special, very rare as well.
So when you're walking around New Jersey, what is that like? Are people just stopping you to take selfies? How do you do that?
Right.
Yeah, if I go out to get a cup of coffee, I'm ready to take photos and probably FaceTime somebody's mama.
All right. Just be ready for it regardless, right?
Yeah, I'll be ready for it, yeah.
All right,
Will they ever get old? Will you ever stop, loving the fans coming up to you and recognizing you from TV?
Definitely not. I think it's a part of the gig. I'm very grateful for the fans, and without the fans, there would be no Situation. So, I'm so grateful that when I show up to these book signings, they're, practically sold out. There's 500-600 every single time. The whole complex is full. So I'm all in my feels that I'm making an impact in our society and culture and the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, and you can feel all that love. And luckily, Mike is loving us a little bit more. He's going to be sticking around. He's going to be talking to us. And this is pretty incredible. He actually saved his son from choking, so we're going to talk about that.
Keep it right here. This is Be Well. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Be Well. We are still hanging out and talking to Mike, the Situation Sorrentino.
All right, so you made some headlines. It was back in February, and this is such a crazy story. You saved your son, Romeo. He started choking. Talk me through what happened.
It was a normal, I think it was a Thursday night dinner. We were getting pasta and pizza on that night, and we were just all eating. And then next thing you know, I heard my oldest, who is 2 years old, he started coughing. And I'll be honest with you, if I hear anything at dinner time with the babies, I immediately jump up because I don't think it's a good sign if the baby starts coughing at dinner. So I immediately jumped up. And then when I went over there, he wasn't speaking. It looked like he wasn't breathing. And then he hunched over and looked like it was a big problem. As soon as he hunched over, I knew, like, okay, this is a huge problem right now.
How terrifying must that have been, as a parent, especially with the little ones where they can't really communicate as well? How scared were you in that moment?
I was definitely very scared, but mom and dad took action very quickly. We worked as a tandem, as a team. I jumped up, I started to get him, I picked him up because he hunched over. So I started to do back blows, but in my opinion, maybe they weren't as forceful as they needed to be. But at the same time, I thought that maybe I would have lodged it further if I did something incorrectly.
You have it caught on camera, so it's like you feel those terrifying moments as we were looking at that video. So
yeah, it was an anti-choking device. We had it in the kitchen. I knew that we had it so that when he started choking, I'm like, okay, as the back blows weren't working and he wasn't breathing, I knew that my wife was going to go get the anti-choking device at the same time. And then within seconds, we got it, we used it, and it was the food was dislodged.
Wow, God bless.
Yeah, definitely.
That's amazing.
Oh, now we got to talk a little bit more. We're all worked up now. It's like, oh my gosh.
Sweating.
Yeah. I want to talk more about the Jersey Shore family because we know you guys reunited for the family vacation. Can we expect this to go on for years and years? When will you say, okay, this is enough, we're done with it? Like, because we love seeing it.
I mean, listen, if the fans love it, you got to give the fans what they want. And to be honest with you, the ratings for Jersey Shore Family Vacation, they're always #1 on a Thursday night, whether it's reality TV or just overall on cable. So, and to be honest with you, we're pretty young, all of us.
Yeah.
So I think that we can continue to tell our story as long as the fans want to see it.
Especially because you're like growing up as parents now.
Yeah.
You're not who you were.
They're going to be like Jersey Shore generations. Like, oh, here we
yeah.
go.
I mean, listen, what you're talking about, that's like in 20 years. But I think, some of us, I just turned 41. The girls are in their 30s. Everyone's really starting their family. I mean, we're like 10, 15 years younger than some of the housewives, maybe even more. So if they're doing it in, into that age, you just never know.
Right.
Yeah, well, that means you'll just have to put another book out in a few years. So
yes,
we'll be waiting for that as well. But we want to make sure everyone knows that Reality Check, Making the Best of the Situation, is out right now. Please go and support it. It could save your life or another family member's life as well. So
yeah, you're so transparent. Such good conversations to have with people you love. Mike, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, guys, thank you so much. And as always, News 12, I love you guys.
Oh, thank you. It was lovely meeting you.